Budgets are at an all-time high? That's a you problem. That's not an us problem.
Video games, video games. Video games, video games.
I saw this article today. I got a little upset. This was on IGN. GTA 6 price. Many in the video game industry hope for $80, if not $100, analyst says. This was written by Wesley Yin Poole. So they're talking about when GTA 6 comes out, reportedly this year, right? That's what they announced, if it doesn't get delayed. There's rumors that it might. But they're saying that people inside the industry, for other companies, are hoping that the game is $80 to $100. There is hope among some within the video game industry that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be priced between $80 and $100, one analyst has said. In a wide-ranging presentation on the state of gaming in 2025, Epellion CEO Matthew Ball said that Rockstar's guaranteed mega hit could reestablish packed video game prices after decades of deflation despite rampant cost growth. GTA 6 due out fall 2025 is the long-awaited follow-up. Yeah, no shit. It's a follow-up to GTA 5. I'm glad they put that in there. I wouldn't have known. But how much will GTA 6 cost the gamer? Most AAA video games cost $70 as standard after a $10 price hike that kicked in with the current generation of consoles in 2020. Could Rockstar and its parent company Take-Two use GTA 6 as an opportunity to go higher 5 years later? I can't believe it's 5 years. In his report, Ball reported that some game makers hope that GTA 6 will be priced at $80 to $100, breaking the $70 barriers and helping current $50 titles to move up to $60 and the current $60 titles to move up to $70 and the $70 to move up to $80. So this is why other people in the industry want GTA 6 to be $80 to $100, because it's going to sell no matter what. It doesn't matter what that game's going to be, people are going to buy it. Then they get used to, all right, I'm paying $80 for a video game, so now everybody else can follow suit, and we can now start charging $80 for our games. That's their mindset. That's what they're thinking. They want somebody to do it first. And who better to do it first than GTA 6? If GTA 6 comes out at $80, all the GTA 6 fans are going to buy it, and I know you guys will. If you're a GTA fan and you want this game, it doesn't matter how much it is, you're going to buy it. Then they think, well, we can change our price too. Please, GTA 6, do it. That's what they're thinking. While this price hike would certainly raise eyebrows with the video game audience, you think? Ball argued that a $70 GTA 6 would be the cheapest GTA game ever released in real terms. That is, when taking inflation into account. In real terms, $91 would be the average, that Ball said. Packaged game prices have never been lower in real terms than they are today, even though budgets are at an all-time high and player growth is stalled. GTA 6 could reestablish packed video game prices after decades of deflation despite rampant cost growth. That's not our fault. Budgets are at an all-time high? That's a you problem. That's not an us problem. That's you developers having to make every game look like it's real life in the real world. Making every game 5 to 10 years to make, because they all have to be super, super long. And you have to pay hundreds and hundreds of employees 5 to 10 years to make one game instead of 2 or 3. So you're only making profits on one game instead of 2 or 3. That's a you problem. That's not an us problem. Maybe make your games cost less to make. We don't need to play things that look like real life. I got that outside my window. This is fiction. This is fantasy. Do you think people want anime to start looking real life? God, man, you so yeah, pass it on to us because you guys don't know how to make a reasonable budget and make games in a reasonable amount of time. Low cost, high profit. Yeah, they're doing high cost, low profit because they think everything has to be, every blade of grass has to move. And then every freaking PC version doesn't work. Because you need a $2,500 PC to play these freaking games. Because every blade of grass moves differently with the way the wind blows. We don't need that shit. You guys gotta stop. Oh, budgets are at an all-time high. That's your fault. Ball's report has sparked a discussion about the value of video games and the likelihood that Rockstar would actually go through with an $80 to $100 price range for GTA 6. Reacting to Ball's comment, Michael Dowse, the publishing director at Baldur's Gate 3 developer Larian, he tweeted, "You're not supposed to say this out loud." Well, you just said it out loud too, you idiot. You just said it out loud as well. You confirmed what he's saying is true by saying that. God, these people in the video game industry, they're morons sometimes, I swear. But see, right there, that's a different company, and he's saying, yes, we want this. As much as they can, they want to charge us. Well, guess what's going to happen? We start cutting games out, and we're not buying as many. And more companies are going to go out of business because you're going to make this ridiculously high-budget game. You're going to sell it for $80 to $100, and nobody's going to buy it, and then you're out of jobs. He continued, "A good company raises salaries in line with inflation so that their staff don't die or something." Yeah, they're going to die. But game prices haven't risen with inflation. Because you guys are spending too much money. This isn't the reason the industry is in the for now, but it's an uncomfortable truth. On the other hand, the responsibility for a game developer is to make sure that the game they show lives up to that promise and that investment from the player. I ain't looking at Blades of Grass. But this Ball guy took to social media to follow up, and he said he doesn't actually think that Rockstar will go to 100, betting instead it's going to be either 70 or they may go with 80. What I said is many in the market hope for 80, if not 99.99. Might a price hike spark a backlash, though? Well, that's up to us. Can't really speculate on a game that is barely even revealed, but the $70 bump from 60 in 2020 was pretty without issue. Yeah, try 70 to 80, see if there's not an issue. Like, this is what they're not going to understand. They'll pay $80 for GTA 6, but they're not going to pay $80 for every other game. They're going to cut games out of their budget, and there's going to be less game sales overall. The developers need to stop, and the publishers need to stop spending as much money as they do on these budgets in making these games. Jeff speaking facts. Thank you, Scott. They know people don't care how much GTA 6 will cost. $100 for the game is nothing in comparison to how much people will dump into the online over the game's life. Yes, GTA 6 can charge as much as they want, but other games cannot. So they're going to try to, though, if they do it. This is why Nintendo will dominate the gaming industry for as long as the world turns. And what's funny is it used to be the other way around. In the Nintendo 64 era, PlayStation games were like $40 and $50, and Nintendo 64 games were $60, $70, and $80. They were so freaking expensive. I remember Conker's Bad Fur Day was like $74.99. Killer Instinct Gold, I think, was $79.99. Nintendo used to be the most expensive in that era. And what won that era? The PlayStation. This is why I'm not getting GTA 6 on the PC. Yeah, you'll probably have to upgrade your PC 6,000 times for it to run. Did I ever mow lawns? I'm not a graphics guy, but games were more in the 80s and 90s than now. Yes, they were. $80 to $100 for a game today with how many games there are and how many games people want to play. You know what's going to happen? We'll go back to owning as many games as we did in the 80s and 90s. We'll all be buying a handful of them because that's what happened. We have more. I bet you every individual player owns more games now than they would have in the 80s and 90s because they cost more based on what they were making, so they bought less. You guys tell me $80 to $100 for a game, and I want to know in two different categories. Are you going to pay that for GTA 6? And would you pay that for as many other video games as you buy now? Or would you have to cut some back, cut some out of your budget because you'll be paying more? This all comes down to us, guys. We dictate the market. If everybody raises their prices to $80, and instead of maybe 5 games a year, let's just say you buy 3, or instead of 10 games a year, you buy 6 or 7, there's going to be a lot of studios that are going to think twice about charging that much. And it's not because we don't want to buy the games. It's going to be hard to afford all that, right? Every little rock has to be perfect and different, and every blade of grass, there were people complaining because the grass didn't move in Rebirth. And I'm like, okay, how much would the game have freaking stuttered and the frame rate would have dropped because these people with $3,000 PCs want the blades of grass to moving? They cater to streamers, the rich streamers, the top of the line streamers that can afford all these crazy PCs so they can stream these beautifully looking games. While normal people, Like, they have to turn all the graphic settings down and all that shit anyway. So why you even bother making the graphics look so great when most people have to turn the graphic settings down? Stop with that. We don't need grass moving. We don't need the leaves, like, rustling in the breeze. It doesn't have to look realistic. Games these days are too realistic and it causes more glitches and bugs. Yep. You don't gotta do that on Switch. And people make fun of the Switch because it's not as powerful. Well, guess what? It was the #1 selling console. It doesn't matter. You're playing games on a potato. Well, that potato sold more than anything else. Graphics and all that is not the be-all, end-all. I, for one, would only get a handful of games if they reach $100, and I'd really have to pick and choose which ones. Everybody would, unless, you know, you're one of the lucky ones that it doesn't matter. You got enough money. Most of us don't.